Well, hi there. It's time for another account fixing video, this time on Cerberus's account, and they are AR60. They are also on the Asia server, which is why my ping is actually surprisingly okay, honestly. I'm in the United States, so, you know, let's get out of the water, because I don't wish to drown. And, yeah, so I wanted to do an AR60 account, because, okay, well, this newbie... it's fine. He's not gonna break his back on water. Yeah, he's Alright, we're on dry land. I already noticed one thing immediately. I think this new roulette does not have enough crit rate. Okay. I think we just got unlucky then, never mind. He does take like a second to build up stacks of Marsh Hunters, but I definitely... Okay. Interesting. That is not what I did not expect a signature weapon on Nuvulet as soon as I logged in. Like, it's not that surprising, to be clear, for an AR60 account to have weapons, right? Like, when you, like, for anyone that is not AR60, to illustrate, like, how much time it takes to get to AR60, it, like, not that you have to, like, log in daily, but if you did log in daily, it probably takes at least a year and a half, but I think, like, a little bit more to get to AR60. That's a lot of playtime. And they have never 36-starred the Abyss. Let's go actually verify that quick. And that's why I wanted to fix an AR60 account, right? Because this is going to be like a weird look of, like, I'm just not me trying to insult anyone that has not cleared Abyss, but is AR60. Like, presumably you just have, like, learned the strategy, or you've made very bad decisions, or like you just haven't farmed enough artifacts, whatever, right? But... you know, yep, looks like, yep, yeah, no 36-star Abyss clears. By all means, right, an account that has played enough, like, to the point of getting to AR60 implies you've logged in enough days. You probably have had the ability to acquire enough 5-star characters that are pretty strong that you probably can clear the Abyss, is the general idea. Now, notably, Cerberus did say... they did tell me that they play on mobile. Mobile is imprecise by nature of touchscreens being touchscreens. They're less precise. Nuvulet is someone that you should be a little bit easier on mobile, though. Is it C1 newbie? No, not. Okay. Anyways, let's take a perusal. Let's see, like, what the... Ooh, a Calamity Queller, huh? To be clear, not the worst stat stick, and... there's actually a 5-star character coming out soon that I think it's their second best weapon. This mostly just looks like a... I didn't actually ask if they were free to play. I guess there's two ways we can find that out. One, battle pass weapons. No, okay, they have a few battle passes. So it looks like they're probably low spender. They didn't have any Welkins when I logged in. So I think they're probably just like they buy the battle pass occasionally kind of player. But, like, I think I'd categorize Cerberus as a low spender, probably. So, anyways, not that many battle passes, and then a smattering of standard banner weapons. Probably, I imagine half of these are probably from standard banner, half of them are probably from weapon banner, because obviously this had to be from weapon banner. Newbie's weapon was from weapon banner. This had to be from weapon banner on Chung Yun. Look, Red Horde is not the worst. Well, actually, by not the worst, I mean it's probably the best generic stat stick as far as a Claymore weapon goes. Why? I love the... I don't think this is the build I would use personally, but you know what? Look, she deserves the Red Horn, just saying. What do we have for characters? We got Kazuo, we got Nahida, we have Nuvulet, of course. Risley, we got a Raiden, we got this boy. The question with this boy and his team's feeling good is a question of... okay, that's interesting. Benin, I think I saw Aquila Favonia, which is nice. Is the Burst Crowned? Yes, very good. Noblesse, standard, okay, so very, very standard, pretty boring. Noblesse build has enough ER, well, might actually not be enough for Wanderer teams now that I think about it. Level 80 Gomming, very nice, with 2-piece, alright. You could do a Marsh to say Hunters, wait, you don't have Farina, do you? Oh, wait, I forgot. They messaged me, they said that they were at pity for Farina, and they have a guarantee, and they said I can try to pull her Farina on the account if I get the Primo Gems for it. Ooh, looks like we can do the event. Oh, they did 2 stars. Interesting. I mean, look, if you don't need the resources, there's, I guess, no reason, like, you don't have to. It's just, like, I always do the highest difficulty stuff on the event. Well, I mean, there is some events where the highest difficulty is very hard. Those are relatively rare, and this is definitely not one of them. The highest difficulty is pretty easy in my opinion, but it doesn't really matter reward-wise. Anywho's, we definitely have a level 78 Ayato. I wonder who's the most regretted character. Ayato's not a terrible character by any means. He is Hydro, but yes, he does seem a bit sad. Notably, he is actually pretty good in this Abyss cycle because AoE Hydro application kind of does some work. You are on. We know what you're on. What? Why is she blinking like a light bulb? All right, Genshin. Crowned E and Crowned Burst though. This is emblematic of how like Raiden is a pretty meh carry unit at C0, right? Even when you're crowned and you have like pretty good artifacts on her, which I don't know, what your emblem artifacts are. I'm not going to look that intensely at this exact moment. Although you actually do not have that many artifacts. I can tell you that. That is very obvious here. Cerberus has not spent as much time farming artifacts as I have. To be clear, their overall build quality does not seem to be suffering that much, but I think one issue it's possible Cerberus might be having, also this is, wow, might be maybe you're a little bit too aggressive with feeding artifacts. If you've farmed an AR60 amount of artifacts, right, I would normally have actually expected a bit more than this. I know this seems like a lot probably to a lot of players. It's actually not that many artifacts. I don't know what to say other than like make sure you don't undervalue energy recharge. The more invested you get in Genshin, the more you usually wind up in a place where you just like really like energy recharge. Like it's the best stat in the game, where you get the most excited about artifacts that have like 30 CV and 3 rolls of ER. Is just like CV, just in case anyone's not aware, is 2 times crit rate plus crit damage. It's basically a really simplistic and bad way to evaluate the quality of an artifact. Characters have ER needs, including like Nuvilette has ER needs, for example. Like this amount of ER on a Nuvilette is probably not enough. If you're struggling with Nuvilette and Abyss, it might be because you're not being able to burst consistently. Nuvilette wants a rainbow team unless you're playing with Farina, right? When Nuvilette is C0. And rainbow team means he's the only one generating hydro particles. His ER needs can actually be relatively significant, even with his weapon refunding some energy. If that crit damage roll was ER, this would have been a better artifact potentially for him, right? And yeah, the amount of Marchesa's artifacts that I'm seeing here tells me that they've spent a meaningful amount of time in the domain. And it's possible they just got lucky with certain pieces like this feather, right? And they haven't gotten anything else good. It's either reflective of you've thrown away pieces in Marchesa's that probably were worth leveling or keeping for potential leveling in the future. Or you haven't spent as much resin as I think you have spent. It's hard to tell. Just like I'm just looking at like how many of these 2 sets you have, right? Is a vague generalization of how much resin you have spent. What's your Kazuha build look like? He's on Iron Sting and he's got VV, total EM 924, pretty good. Very actually respectable amount of energy recharge. Do you have no Fav Sword? Really? Oh, and you do. Oh, it's an R5. Ooh. Oh, that kind of hurts. Okay, so you know how I mentioned like potential horrible mistakes for an AR60 player? Fav Sword, I think is probably the best weapon in the game. A lot of characters really like Fav Sword. You should definitely keep multiple Fav Swords. We have an Ayaka here with makes sense. One of the saddest things about like Marchesai Hunter with version 4.0 is this set existing, enabling, especially with Farina's, enabling it on any on-field DPS unit. Like, what's the relevance of Blizzard Strayer anymore, right? I think it's possible you made a little bit of mistakes with artifacts, like throwing them away, but I'm not seeing anything insane, right? I'm not seeing any insane, oh my god, how you're so crazily dumb for, like, no. Like, there's no horrifying mistakes that have stuck out here. And I think we should be able to clear this Abyss, even this Abyss cycle with how annoying as heck it is. Actually, one question though. Do you have official level, official level 80? Level 80 fish? Level 80 fish? Just got R5 stringless. She created a universe. This is not even a bad build for her. It's actually pretty, whoa! This is a pretty, what? Okay, well, this was a pretty good build until I saw that. Okay, Gaming has your, oh my god, by the, what? Official wants this. HP Goblin, okay, you clearly don't use Official. So Official is an absolute beast in this Abyss cycle. I don't see... Oh, there's Yayo. And Yayo's even level 80. Perfect. Not equipped. They probably want Deepwood on her. Doesn't look like we really have many spare Deepwood. I mean, that's pretty good. I'm just looking for ER for Yayo, basically. The fact that there's not that many spare pieces, but you have a lot of good artifacts, really tells me you throw away artifacts that you probably shouldn't throw away. Alright, so for comparison, here is the artifact screen on my main account, right? Which is an AR60 account, just like Cerberus is. But notably, right, I have a whole schmack ton of like level 0, level 4 artifacts, right? These are all pieces that I keep because like they could be relevant, right? This crit, even though I have plenty of good Martial Say feathers, this is a crit damage and attack percent piece, right? Crit damage, EM, and then especially stuff that has like ER, right? Is all stuff, you know, 1 crit line, 1 ER line, right? And EM, ER, all kinds of pieces that I keep just because they could be relevant for me in the future. This is kind of what I'm talking about with how Cerberus seems like they have been a bit too aggressive with throwing away artifacts that could have been very useful to them. Back to their account. Ultimately, you know, you make do with what you have. Yeah, it's just is interesting, is my point. How you can reconceptualize what stats are valuable, and you might realize that getting a character to have a functional build is easier than you expect sometimes. Not to say it's easy, it's a little grindy game. The artifact situation on this account is just leaving me a little bit more limited as far as my options go, to be able to configure characters. You do have Jean, which is good. Jean, you may end up noticing, is a very valuable unit with Freenet. Dendro Traveler does not have artifacts either. Oh boy, okay. This could be a good weapon for your Jean. Alright, this account might take more work than I thought it would. Equip this to her. And I don't know what we have for fodder. We got a decent bit of fodder. Actually, okay, wait. Okay, actually, I'm not gonna... This was a 4-line that leveled once in defense, once in attack percent. What do you have for emblem pieces? I don't know if I should throw that away. No, we're not throwing that away. Yeah, no. See, this emblem piece is proof of my thinking they have thrown away pieces they shouldn't have thrown away. This piece can be insanely good still. Like, you have no emblem flowers with crit rate at all, and more notably, emblem. It's the ER set. You get damage for having ER. You have ER attack percent and crit rate. One bad roll, especially on a 4-line artifact, does not make this a bad artifact. This could be really good. Like for anyone watching, count the number of stats that are relevant to like how your character deals damage as far as how good an artifact is. As an example, right? This artifact, assuming a character needs the ER, let's say you're building like a 2-piece Shao build. This has 1, 2, 3 rolls of crit rate, 1, 2, 3 rolls of crit damage, and yes, there's a little bit of low rolls, but like the difference between low rolls and high rolls is not going to be the enough between like clearing content or not. So yeah, 3 rolls of crit rate, 3 rolls of crit damage, 2 rolls of ER. This is 8 lines of stat value. This is an insanely good piece. 8 lines of stat value. That's a simplified way that actually like measurably adjusts the quality of an artifact. This is a level 9 emblem piece. Most characters in Emblem care about ER, and a lot of them care about attack percent. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of stat value with 3 more upgrades to go. You can have 7 lines of stat value. That's very good. Yeah, this account kind of just reeks of overvaluing crit. No offense. I don't blame them for it because this is what has come of, you know, the like, you know, I'm just gonna poke fun at one creator. I like some of his videos. He's a good creator. But X-Slice, like, he overvalues crit, right? And people watch those videos of him like strongboxing artifacts, and they see him throw away a lot of artifacts that most players should not be throwing away. This is absolutely one of them. Now, to be clear, if it rolls 3 more times into flat def, probably worth throwing away, but honestly, still, considering it's the only ER piece you have with amount of flower with Emblem, and you have barely any Emblem artifacts, and a lot of characters like Emblem, it might still be worth keeping, even with only 4 relevant rolls. Like, it's still not terrible. And one thing that's also important is I think some people undervalue crit rate a bit too much. Like, when you have, especially like on Martial's Hunters, when you have these builds where you start reaching these really inflated crit damage ratios, this is a bad crit ratio. As soon as you reach that 200% crit damage ratio, you should be aiming for as close to 100% crit rate as possible. Like anytime you don't crit, right? This big old fancy number on your Nuvilette, like wow, 300% crit damage, ooh, like awesome. But if you don't crit, that 300% crit damage does nothing. Point being, it's easily possible that a crit rate circlet might end up being the best piece possible, or having pieces that have a little bit more crit rate and substats while sacrificing maybe a significant amount of crit damage could actually be a significant upgrade for this Nuvilette, right? The main times to throw away an artifact are actually specific, like this honestly should not be thrown away. The main times to throw away an artifact, if it's like all flat stats kind of thing. Like, man, I didn't expect to just rant about artifacts just this long already into this recording. I have no idea how much I'm going to be cutting out. I've been recording for 50 minutes and all it does is yell about artifacts, I feel like. Anywho's, that feels like the main issue on the scout. Despite the fact that your AR60 you probably farmed a meaningful amount of that domain even, you just threw away the pieces that could have been used for Dendro Traveler today. Anywho's, let's do something fun. Let's go do the event quick and see if we can get Farina, because then we'll probably focus. Like Farina should make this abyss quite a lot easier because we can just do like Farina and Nuvilette on the second side. Worst case scenario. I don't know. This is weird. Oh yeah, I forgot Mihoyo likes to put not enough ER on their trial Xianglings because they're trying to brainwash people into thinking Xiangling is not a broken. Like why? Why Mihoyo? I think Cerberus, as much as I've been, you know, commentating on them, like throwing away artifacts that could enable their characters to be good, they probably have a better Xiangling than Mihoyo. Yep, that's a lot better Xiangling than Mihoyo. Oh, good job, Mihoyo. Yeah, if Cerberus, if you really want to use Ayaka, there are some shenanigans. You can feel free to message me. I can show you some, like, ow, ow, ow. You have Nahida. There's some burn melt shenanigans you can do that I think will, if you're feeling like if you're someone that's struggling to find value in your cryo units that you've invested in, I suggest doing burn melt. Even with Ayaka, I've seen pretty fun stuff. Even though like people are normally like, "Oh, you only do freeze Ayaka." Like, no, you can do non-freeze Ayaka. You'll be fine, and it might make your Ayaka more usable in a lot more situations, right? Yeah, I think I was right about Bennett. This Bennett needs a little bit more ER. Oh my god, I was yapping too much and I failed. There's no reason I should have failed that. Oops. There we go. Did it with time to spare. Claim. And there's a day. Oh, really? All 6 of those don't get... I forgot. Why? So I just noticed this team. A Hyperbloom team without doing an off-field Dendro unit is not going to do that much, right? As far as the Hyperbloom damage goes. And look, an artifact. Exiles pieces can actually be pretty good. Also, I just noticed, you know, no instructors, like 4-star pieces. An AR60 account should definitely have gotten enough instructors pieces to the point where, like, yeah, like, check every instructors pieces, especially. Exiles can also be relevant, but it's more rare. But instructors is pretty dang good. Like, you know how you had your Dia on a tenacity build? Dia on instructors, in my experience, tends to be more useful. And notably, Dia on instructors does not usually need any ER. So you just need instructors pieces in general for Dia. But instructors Bennett can also be meaningfully better than a Noblesse Bennett in a lot of team contexts. But Instructors Bennett is a lot harder to build. Alright, well that got us enough Primo Gems. We did get their permission to do wishes. So let's see if we can get their guaranteed Farina. It's like 78 pity, I believe. Nope, rip. Alright. Mihoyo wants us to have a harder time for the account fixing. That's fine, it's fine. You have a Kirara here. You're doing a Hyperbloom team without any Deepwood, you know. Also, what? This isn't even... What? Why? Okay, well, on the upside, you can go and plop these pieces on your Chevreuse, and congrats, you have a pretty good Chevreuse build. Your Raiden was configured for Hyperbloom, and Raiden is a lot more brain off for Hyperbloom than Kuki is, especially with Nuvilette, because Kuki, right, you need to stay at range to be able to hit the cores. Raiden has a little bit wider range, you can stay farther away and hit Hyperbloom cores. So we'll probably just switch to Raiden for your Hyperbloom team here. Your Nahida is on Deepwood, which is good, and your Nahida even has a very good build. And if you need the healing, you also have a Prototype Ember, which is really nice. I love Prototype Ember on Nahida. Yes, I know this exists. Is it official C6, by the way? Not official C6. Interesting. Official C6 is a pretty strong constellation. Official's still a strong character without C6, but yeah. Was your Xingqiu leveled up? Like, I'm noticing a lack of using Hydro units in this team list here. Raiden's on a Hyperbloom build, so, you know, like, instantly make this team better by blam, right?
Chivalry will never...
And Xingqiu doesn't need Emblem, but it looks like you have a competent, or very competent... Okay, yeah, way more ER actually than you need. You don't even need an ER timepiece on your Xingqiu. But we'll have no problems with his energy. Tighnari would be nice here, except for Xingqiu's Hydro application is based on doing normal attacks, so, you know, it's like, you could throw Keqing in here if you want to do some Keqing action. Heck, you could do Wriothesley in a Hyperbloom team, right? Do some Hyper Fridge. I don't think I looked at your Wriothesley build. Skyward, 4-piece Marshal says. Yep, pretty good Wriothesley. You don't really need a healer in this team, or if you do need a healer, just put Prototype Amber on Nahida. And like freezing enemies constantly, and then Xingqiu's damage reduction means like this team should work pretty well, right? Alright. This team should work pretty well. So we could try something like this for the second half of Abyss, although Nuvilet on his own is not the fastest at dealing with the lectors, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're gonna try a Linny team. I've never actually played Linny to any meaningful degree in Abyss before.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night. Here comes the finale.
Okay, they're dead already. Yeah, Bennett teams are all kinds of awkward in this Abyss cycle, or this half. You kind of just have to do a full RS new rotation every time. Not super optimistic for how I'm going to do with Linny here because every time I felt he's a very clunky unit, to say the least. And I'm sure I'm going to play him. Yep, see, that's part of why he feels clunky. I don't like units that feel like you need to bring shielders to them. That's just an issue, honestly, of Linny being too situational is what I would describe it as. I'd say Gaming does feel better here, but I'd really rather have Farina. or yeah, Farina would be the most notable character to make for easy vapes on Gaming, and then he'd be a lot better. I'm kind of thinking maybe as far as on C6, Xiao might be one of the better teams at adapting. Oh, man, this is not the most fun Abyss cycle. Okay. Momenting seems decent. You know. Why? Definitely get that down 20 seconds or so. Where is Nuvilet? What did I do? Oh my god, the eruption there. Okay. Best clear I've had yet. Oh my god, the latency. Yeah, this Nubulette definitely needs more ER. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, I reconfigured Nubulette a little bit, lost some crit damage, gained some ER, I also gained some HP, so it should be a net gain. I also put Shao on a two-piece build now, which I think actually might be better than before Marsha's. I think it's slightly better. It's not much better. But notably it's going to be better. Yeah, it's a lot better when we don't have Bennett's buff. Which is fairly often in this current shenanigans we got going on here. Yeah, the two-piece I got going is about the same with Bennett buff, but without Bennett buff it's better. So when we're going over to do things like this, we can get a bit more damage out on them. I'm doing Chamber 2 before I do anything more on Chamber 1 because I'm losing my mind trying to optimize Chamber 1. I honestly think as soon as this account gets Farina, it will not be that hard. But it also makes me annoyed to feel that way.
There is no escape. Let me lead you first. Know my soul. Rain outlines your fate. Let's begin.
Alright, Risley Hyper Bloom going well.
Let me try. Settle down.
Stars, shine for me.
The time is beckoning.
Wind strike. As one with wind and cloud.
Wings of darkness. The night is cold.
Bow your head. Let the mighty be humble.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my...
Don't be scared.
As you wish, silence.
Doing a terrible job at swirling, that's fine.
Be sanctified.
It's not bad.
Stars, shine for me. My guiding.
Clouds high.
Just stop shuttling.
Wings of darkness.
The wind knows me.
The night is cold.
Alright, I got plenty of time, so I'm just gonna play this slow.
Bow your head. No rest
Oh
for
god,
the
oh god. Oh, of course. Alright, we're fine. Got it. No problem, that was easy. A little bit fragile because they're playing like healer-less teams and whatever. ER or HP. I probably need the HP, honestly.
Minute to memory. Make yourselves at home.
Illusion shattered. Witness the power of the one. Know my soul. Huh?
Who's playing pretty well? Yeah. Share my knowledge.
There is no escape.
way now.
Let me lead you first. Rain outlines your fate. No, shine down.
Roll. Make yourselves at home.
Oh man, so close to kill it.
Let's play pretty well.
Witness the power of the one. Rain outlines. Shine
There we go.
Bow your head. The wind knows me. As you wish me.
Stars, shine for me.
Fallen leaves, adorn my... The tides beckon. Silence! Bow your head. Midnight vent.
Not now. Hold. Mine's
Let the mighty be humble. Settle down.
I must remain calm, as one with wind and cloud.
the night is cold.
Silence.
Midnight phantasmagoria.
The tides beckon.
Really? Dude, can you just stay near me? This enemy is just wasting so much time. There we go. Okay. That was the first try. Well, no, sorry, technically second try. So, no surprise. Chambers 2 and Chamber 3 were easy. Oh, Chamber 1. I have no idea what footage I've included for Chamber 1 yet, but I do think this Xiao team is the one that has the most room for optimization. Like, I think I can get it down to a minute and 20-second clear. Then, like, Nubilet seems like the obvious idea for the second side, right? But, it's just... that's funny. This means that Cerberus has logged in. Hello, it is day 2 of being on Cerberus's account, and if you noticed inside here, they got Farina. Cerberus just did some exploration. I don't know how many wishes it took them, but they got her. And I kind of really want to be stubborn and try to clear this abyss without Farina, but like I think we're just gonna use Farina. It looks like Cerberus got her to level 80. Yeah, they obviously did some pre-farming for her. And level 8 scale, level 8 burst seems pretty good. And they got Yao. Well, okay, I thought they had Yao already, but no, I already had talked about they don't have Deepwood artifacts. I think Farina is going to be the difference maker. It wouldn't surprise me if I go to the Abyss with Farina and I clear it in the first try. Suppose we should check Farina's build. They're using Fav, which is good. That's her signature weapon. And 83 crit rate, 183 ER. Not what I would consider ideal, but it's probably fine. She could probably be happy with, yeah, something like this would actually probably be meaningfully better for her. This is kind of similar to what I run on her all the time. And we can just give, we'll give Nahida that circlet. There we go. So I think I'm going to stick with Xiao on the first side and Nubilet on the second side. And the options we have are basically to use Farina on kind of either side. I don't think it really matters, but I think it'll probably be a little bit more pleasant to use Farina on the second side in this case because more Hydra application, get through shield faster. And I can do Fischl and Kazuha on the second side as well. And I'll just stick with the Xiao team that I was using before. Let's see, can I do this on my first try? I'm gonna guess no, because it's been a day and I lost my muscle memory that I had gained. I mean, it's not really muscle memory, I should say, but yeah, I don't know, you get the point. Alright, hello, sir. Putting Farina in this team would make this chamber notably a lot easier to potentially deal. Ow. Can you die? Please? Okay, good. Would notably probably make that this chamber a lot easier. By nature of being able to carry over a buff, and make Xiao just a lot less reliant on being in Bennett Circle in general. So, yeah. Xiao is actually pretty good with the C6 Vars on at least.
Ears of the storm. Too late for going in.
Where do you think you're going?
Alright. And I think that was one of the best clears I actually had with the Shao team there on my first try. So, yep, let's see how this goes. Reverse, of course. And I didn't actually check to make sure they didn't tweak the Neuvillette build in between this, but I think we're probably fine. Well, actually, yeah, we should definitely be fine because we're doing double Hydro.
As you wish me.
And,
Settle down. Be sanctified. Bow their heads.
alright, yeah, this is, yep, this is, I think going quite well now, other than me being bad.
Settle down. The time's beckon.
That, this, of course, get interrupted. Neuvillette. Okay. You be less of a butthole. Okay, there we go. It's fine. Also, the HP is I forgot we need I forgot no healers with Furina. Like just doing Neuvillette as a healer when you're not doing Prototype Amber can be a bit rough sometimes, to say the least. But hey, you know what? It's fine. We're gonna have some fanfare here, and bam, first try. So it's yeah. It's not really a surprise that Furina kind of immediately made that easy. Jeez, right? Weird quinky dink with Furina on the banner, right? It's almost like that's their strategy. I don't know. I don't have the energy in me, I feel like, to to be stubborn enough to optimize this down. I do think I can clear this Abyss on their account with like enough time with the teams I was using before, even some combination of the teams I was using before. But I was just running into really annoying like optimization issues, right, with Neuvillette, and like if we had Zhongli in this account, right, I would have ended up getting interrupted a lot less with Neuvillette, and you know, whatever other various things, right. Heck, even like Fischl being level 90 might have been enough of a damage increase to help. So yeah, I don't know, right? Like this is an AR60 account. They have obviously enough characters to be able to clear this Abyss, and this is like probably the hardest Abyss cycle that has ever existed. I am very confident Cerberus has thrown away artifacts they probably should not have thrown away. That could have gotten me like a lot more flexibility to be able to deal with things. For example, electrocharge teams are actually very, very good. Like I was using an electrocharge team there with Neuvillette, Furina, Fischl, and Kazuha, right? That is a very strong team core to be able to deal with the second half. I probably could have done like, you know, I don't know, like Fischl she's always a core of electrocharged. Kazuha and Beidou, right? Like Beidou has a lot of electro application that can be quite good with C2, especially in AoE situations, at dealing with the pyro electro shields. But there wasn't enough spare emblem artifacts for me to want to, you know, use a level 50 Beidou. I didn't really fix anything on this account, technically. All I did was potentially use things a little bit differently. Cerberus has a lot of the things that can make different teams work, right? And I think I showed properly, like Risley working in Hyperbloom team formats, and you know, there's probably potential for Burn Melt Risley stuff with Nahida. There's a lot of potential teams that can work here. You know, there's potential for Raiden and Chevreuse, right? You could do Raiden, Chevreuse, Bennett, and Xiangling together. That's a pretty good team core that I've used a bunch. But of course, again, didn't really seem like we had the emblem artifacts for that. The most notable things I did do that were helping me in the previous stems were like, you know, reconfiguring Neuvillette. I'm pretty sure this build is better or as close to as good as the previous one as far as the crit value goes, even though there's loss in crit damage. And then the extra 2 ER rolls definitely did matter as far as making him feel a lot more comfortable when he was solo Hydro. I really, really like Dia on instructors. You don't even need like leveled up instructors pieces, right? Just she gives the interruption resistance for Neuvillette to not get knocked back constantly. Doing Dia, Nahida, Raiden, Hyperbloom, I find that very fun. It's just not great in this Abyss for the second chamber, at least because of the butthole shields. Neuvillette on his own is really annoying to get through the shields, and Raiden is not very good at getting through the shields either. And that's why I ended up trying things like Fischl and whatever in place of Raiden in that team. yada yada. And then notably Shao. With this weapon, I ended up finding out like the artifact options that were available in Marchesaise. While you have some good pieces, they weren't able to get Shao to like a crit ratio wherein he was dealing that amazing a damage. So like this two-piece build was doing the same damage as the Marchesaise build, and it's, you know, a two-piece build that also has a lot higher attack, which means, you know, if you're not in Bennett's circle, it performed a lot better. So that meant in practice this was meaningfully better than Marchesaise Hunters. Cerberus did give me permission to like use their resin to level up anything, but honestly, like there's too many potential things for me to like do that, and none of them are necessary, obviously, right? But like the main thing that Cerberus is going to probably be working on for the time being is thinking about whatever healers you're going to use with potential Farina teams. She's a really good enabler for many different units to be empowered significantly. Like Gomming with Farina is going to be a lot better. So, you know, thinking about doing Gomming, Farina, Jean teams or whatever, right? Yeah, so all I've done really is just tweak a lot of artifacts around, and I do think things are better for the account. I haven't done nothing, but mostly I think I just utilize things in different ways. Hopefully Cerberus will let me know in the comments below how I did. I don't think there's much reason to use the few fragiles they have. They seem to be well on the right track, especially with Farina. Let me know if you want me to do more AR60 accounts in the future, because I think they are interesting as far as retrospects of almost what not to do. You know, and in this case, the main thing is just don't throw away the artifacts that could be relevant for your future. That's kind of the main thing we learned this time. Oh, I almost forgot. Link below in the description or pinned comment if you want to submit for your account to be fixed. But I have literally several thousand submissions, so keep that in mind. My Discord server is also linked below if you want to join the Discord and get help from potentially me or anyone else on my Discord server. There's a lot of people that are relatively knowledgeable about Genshin that can potentially help you out if you have questions. Don't just count on me logging into your account and fixing everything for you. That's not really what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of taking a perusal through people's accounts and seeing what can be done differently to achieve their goals. In this case, you know, Cerberus wanted to clear the Abyss, because they were AR60 and never did it before, and I did it on what was probably the hardest Abyss cycle that has existed in the game. Hopefully Cerberus feels like I wasn't too rude.